Hey everybody, welcome back to Let's Automate It. I'm here with my partner, Darren. How's it going? Yeah. So guys, last week, if you're following along with us, last week, Darren got me started with Claude Code. Just getting started. I knew nothing about it. We've started from scratch. And today I'm really looking forward to the next in this video series of kind of getting a little deeper into this Claude Code thing and getting closer to being able to use it. Let me just highlight, though, that if you are just jumping into this video for the first time, there is a preceding video. And like any good show, you kind of want to watch the first episode before you watch the second episode. So, head over to our channel, and I'm just going to highlight for you right now. I think here on our channel, there we go. Head over to Let's Automate It. And right here, you can see there's a video, Claude Code Beginner's Guide. Definitely jump into that. We are two normal humans. We are not developers. We are not coders. We are normal humans trying to figure out this Claude Code thing. If that sounds like you, follow along with us. You're going to share our successes, our failures, our stumbles, all of that together. I know nothing of what's going on. Darren is a couple of weeks ahead of me. But Darren, but you're by no means an expert. You just kind of have figured some stuff out, right?
Journey, but I'm by no means a developer or expert in Claude. So we are just figuring this.
Yeah, exactly right, guys. So if you are a hardcode dev, this might be too elementary for you, but hopefully we provide a little bit of entertainment. So let's pick up where we left off last week. I'm going to get some things figured out, which means I'm going to need to share my screen. And if you remember last week, we got Claude Code installed on my local computer, and then we walked through some of the menu commands that were there. So my task right now, it's been a week. I haven't gone back and looked at Claude Code, so I need to get it set up. Now, if I remember correctly, Darren, we were working in my terminal. I'm using a tool called warp.dev, which is just another terminal program that lets me kind of talk to my computer at a kind of code command level as opposed to navigating with my mouse. That's all it is. And I like warp.dev because it's got a little agent built into it, an AI agent. So someone like me can get a little bit unstuck. So let me share my screen, and then I'm going to try and get Claude Code going again so we can pick up where we left off. And if you're following along, I suggest you go ahead and do the same right now. So let's start with this screen share here. Let's just share the entire screen. There we go. And we'll share that. And then let me jump into my warp terminal here. And Darren, you're right. You can see my warp screen here, a nice big black screen. Okay, so here I am. I'm in my warp, which is exactly the same as terminal. If you're in terminal, it'll be the same experience. Now, if I recall last week, Darren, I think we installed Claude Code on my desktop. So I'm going to have to just change my directory to my desktop, which you can do simply by going type CD and go desktop and hit enter. And I've now navigated onto my desktop. And if I just simply type the word Claude, it should launch Claude Code, right?
Yes, that's correct. That's now fire up the Claude Code welcome screen. And there you go. You can see there that tells you what file in, users, Robin Tibble, which is the root, and then guest.
Fantastic. So guys, this is how far we got last week. So if you by this stage you're at this point, hopefully you're there with us right now. Now, Darren, I know this is not a normal piece of software. I can't just start using this right now and creating code as much as I'm tempted. There's a bigger environment to writing code that we need to respect. So there's more going on here, hey?
Yes, that's correct. So right now we're just looking at the terminal here, but where Claude is going to be used the most is inside our IDE, which is the Integrated Development Environment. And there's a larger picture involved there. And I can actually show you a screen share here on my side now, which will demonstrate the larger picture where we are going to be using.
Okay, so I think what's important to understand as we jump into this, and I'm very glad you've got something prepped for us there, Darren, is this is not a normal setup. You're not installing a piece of software and go with it. We have all kinds of bits and pieces that we've got to kind of pull together. We're baking a cake here, and we need all these ingredients to pull together to work so that we can actually have an AI help us write code, have that code saved somewhere, and then ultimately push this code onto the internet so that we can go and use whatever sexy thing we make by the code. Darren, I think that's what you're going to kind of paint that picture for us right now, hey? Fantastic. And then hopefully we can install most of that, if not all of it, on today's video. Maybe we get as far as creating something. If not, we'll push that into the next video. So that's kind of laying out what I'm hoping we can try and tackle today. So let me just break my screen share here and pass the screen over to you there, Darren.
And you should now be seeing
Yeah. It looks like a Miro board. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, so very simply, at the moment, what we currently have set up is we have the terminal or the command line or our local machine here, and we have installed Claude Code onto this machine. This Node.js over here, this is just a dependency of Claude Code, and Claude Code needs us to run.
I remember we installed that. We installed that last week. I remember Node.js was one of the first things you had me do early in the video. We've installed that. So this is where we are right now today. This is where we. Okay. All right. Gotcha.
Yes, correct. As we can see here, there's nothing really too much that we can do over here in this environment. Yes, we can access all files tutored through the terminal, but it isn't really structured, and this need a lot more here in order to do our app. So this is what the environment looks like now that we are going to be looking at.
Oh, okay. Wow. There's a lot. So coding's not for sissies. There's a bit to wrap your head around here.
There's a few working pieces over here. I'll just maybe break this down here in a way that's easy to understand. So we will start with our IDE, the development tool that we are going to use to build our app and manage all the files. Now, this is essentially just a program or an app on your machine that you use locally, where you can deploy Claude Code inside the terminal, inside this app, and gives us the ability to manage all of the files within our app. So we can load all the files from our app, and we can then launch Claude Code inside this IDE, and we can then use Claude Code here to manage and edit and work on all of these files in our app.
Okay, so I've got a brief question. You say files. So what I'm guessing here, we're not just going to write one big body of code. We kind of write little bits of code, and they get saved in their own little files in a folder, and then IDE knows which ones to call on. And so we kind of like not just creating a ton of code here. We're actually going to be having little mini programs, little mini codes that all talk to each other, and they're saved as files. Does that sound right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you think of like a directory structure, you'll have your app as the main file, and then or a folder, and within that folder, you'll have multiple different files and other folders containing more files, and that is what makes your app run, and that is all the coding of your app. And those different files could be all for various different things in your app.
Okay.
One could be all the environment variables that your app needs, like hosting details, credentials, APIs. You could have another file there which is for authentication and how to do certain things. And it's all the file structure for your entire app. But we'll be able to have a look at this as we start moving through this action phase over here.
Got it.
Okay. And you'll see at the bottom here, this is GitHub over here, and it's connected to our local IDE tool. In this case, we are going to be using VS Code. And the reason these two are connected is because if you're developing or working on an app locally on your own machine, you want to be able to push that app, all of those files, up into a GitHub repository, so you can then manage that app with all the versions and all of the new edits and updates, etc. And likewise, once that app is on GitHub, you want to be able to clone that app down into your IDE again, so that you are able to work on those files, continue building on your app.
Okay. So, I mean, I've built some WordPress sites in my life, and what I'm hearing is, in the early days, I would build the WordPress on my local machine and get it working. But when I wanted to go live, I'd have to put that WordPress site on a server somewhere in order to go live. And GitHub is kind of, not quite, but I think it's kind of like that cloud space. Hey, that stuff's off my local machine. I'm finished with it. I can go store it somewhere else that other things can access and talk to it. And now I'm basically on the web and potentially exposed to the world.
Yes, that's correct.
Gotcha.
Okay, and then the final part of this whole diagram over here is we need a way to store all of the databases and the information of the app inside the database online, and we also need a way to publish our app on our own domain name, so it can be used by the public, and we can then obviously use our app live in the real world. So we are going to be using a tool called Vercel for that. And inside Vercel, we will then connect up a database, as well as we'll be able to set up a domain name there. So when our site goes live into production,
Okay. I'm going to have a quick stab, and you can correct me if I'm right or wrong. Quick stab is why we need a database. So, we've spoken about code and files and up on GitHub. That's great. That'll actually make our app run. But normally apps are asking questions. Someone has to type something into an app. They've got to feed information into the app in order for the app to do something. Now, we haven't actually come up with an app we're going to make yet. But the database is to hold that information, usernames, logins, any information they pull in that it gets, that the code can then read in order to kind of make that app personalized to that person's experience, to do the job that person wants. That's why we need a database and we need code to work together.
Yes, that's correct. And you might not necessarily always need to use a database. There may be a scenario where you're building a very simple one-page or two-page web app, like maybe you're using a social media posting tool that's connected to an N8N automation in the backend. You don't necessarily need a database for that because your app is just triggering off a webhook call to an N8N workflow in the backend. So in certain circumstances, you won't necessarily need a database. This database is generally if you're only going to have user login and people are going to be saving things to their profile and they need to then access that site with a username and a password or some kind of authentication like Google or something like that. And that's when a database comes.
Gotcha. So then our challenge, what we've done so far is we've just installed Claude Code and Node.js. That's as far as we've got. So now we need to go and get an IDE installed, Git, CLI. We need to get all that installed, connect it up to a GitHub account and so forth. So that's what we're going to be tackling today on today's video, right?
Yeah, correct. So there's a few more dependencies that we will need to install in order to enable these features here where we can push updates to GitHub and clone from GitHub. So we are going to go and install the Git dependencies and the GitHub CLI. And once we have done that, we will then move on to then setting up our VS Code environment. And we'll then start looking at a beautiful template that I have where we can then start the process of setting up our.
Okay, sounds good. I think a lot of that's going to become clearer as you work through it. So, guys, as I said, this is not a quick fire tutorial. There's plenty of those on YouTube. Go and check them out. But if you're wanting to see how normal humans, non-developers tackle these problems, watch along with us now. I have literally never done this before. This is brand new for me. Thank you, Darren, for guiding me through this. I'm keen to get started. What next?
Okay, so I think we're going to have to switch over from my screen sharing to your screen sharing now.
No problem. Okay, so where do you want me to go first? I know we've got kind of infinity screen share going on here. I can get past that quickly. Where are we going to head over to first on our browser here? Okay, Git. Okay, so I'm going to grab us out of the chat. So let's go and grab a hold of that. And there we go. So I'm on Git. I'm on Git. So we want to install some Git. All right. So what do I do here? I see there's a little install button over here. Is that what I'm going for? Okay. Let's see. What am I done? Download for Mac OS, Homebrew. Okay. Do I download something here? Do I have to copy these commands into my terminal? Okay, so I was looking for a download button here. I don't see it, but I am seeing some commands here that I'm going to have to run. So that's pretty straightforward. Don't be scared of these. So I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to head back over to my warp, my terminal. I am still in Claude Code. So let me get out of Claude Code here. There we go.
Have to navigate out of Claude Code, and I think navigate out of your desktop folder as well.
Okay, so to do that, cd space double dot, and it just goes back up to my root now, as it were. And if I just paste this, I should be able to run this command, Darren? Okay, so that was the command I just copied from that Git website. ZEH command not found. Now, Darren, this is we can troubleshoot this, but I can actually ask warp.dev to help me do this, to install this for me. Should we have a go at that, or do you think there's something else, some other way we should troubleshoot installing this brew file? Because as we can see, it hasn't worked for us right off the bat.
So here's another way you can go about this. If you run Claude now in this home directory.
So I need to go back into my desktop, I think, to run Claude.
See if it runs over here.
Okay, so I'm just going
to. Yeah, it doesn't really matter if it runs on npx. because we can use Claude now to help us install Git. So it doesn't really matter if it's using the npx mode. It should. There we go. So you just got to give it permissions. Now we're using Claude Code in the root folder.
Okay.
So now go and ask it, say, help me install Git on my machine. And then paste that command.
All right. So we're talking to an AI right now that's got access to my machine. Do you want to install Git using Homebrew? Yes. So I'm just going to hit number 1 here. It's transpiling, whatever that means. Transpiling. I'll tell you how you pronounce that. And it's busy running away. So we're actually using Claude Code. I didn't actually think we'd get to using Claude Code, but here we are. It's busy doing stuff for me at the moment. This is very cool.
So this is something that I usually do if I'm having a hard time installing like packages or dependencies on my machine. Sometimes some packages don't install for whatever reason. I then like to use Claude Code to tell it what I'm trying to install. And because Claude Code, we're running Claude Code in the root file now, it's got access to your entire directory structure. So it can now go and see what's going on. And this is actually a super effective way to then install it. So you can see there now, you now have Git version 2.51 installed. And if I'm not mistaken, that was actually, yes, that's the version that is the latest release on the Git website as well.
Fantastic. That's great. Love it. That was so easy. So I think what's so cool is we ran into a problem. We're not coders, so we couldn't figure it out. We didn't need to. AI sorted it out for us. Maybe there's some security issues there. I don't know. Please let us know in the comments if we've screwed this up. What I know is I had a problem and very quickly I fixed it without a ton of Googling or phoning a friend. Loving it.
Yeah, so now while we're here, you may as well ask Claude Code, say, help me please install the GitHub CLI.
Okay, because that's one of the other dependencies that we need. Help me install GitHub CLI. Enter. I'm very optimistic about this.
And what this will help you do is this will allow you to use certain CLI commands to clone repositories off of GitHub, push updates, commits, and things of that nature.
Okay.
And you'll see how we'll be using some of these commands later when we are cloning.
Okay, so I'm going to hit proceed, right? So to continue the installation, so that's number 1. And then just to summarize what you were saying, this is now letting me talk between my local machine and the code I'm going to build with Claude Code, help kind of push it to GitHub. And if there's any code I need from GitHub, I can pull it down to my local machine. This is setting up that kind of two-way sync, as it were, between the two, my machine and GitHub.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see there now it says GitHub CLI version 2.78 has been installed. You can now use GitHub commands.
Fantastic. Loving life. All right. What's next? This is going so well.
We now have all our dependencies installed. The final thing that you want to download now is the IDE software, which is the software we are going to use to develop our application with the file managers. So here you can exit Claude Code and you can actually close Terminal for now, because this app is just a downloadable app that you can get off of the internet, and you can just go and search Google for VS Code. And there are many of these out on the market now. Probably one of the more popular ones is Cursor, but I know Cursor is just a fork of VS Code. So I've just gone with VS Code because
Okay, so I actually did cheat a little bit before this video started. I knew this was coming, and I have actually downloaded the file. So I've already got it installed. Not installed. I've already got it downloaded. I've done nothing with it. So let me just go and open my little Finder here, and here I can see in my Finder I've got VS Code zip file. So it's just busy expanding that at the moment, and there it is. So it's an application. Do I double click and launch this application now?
Yes, launch this application. It should open up as.
All right, it's busy opening up. Yes, I want to open it. And let me just, okay, I have this little box over here. Let's make it a little bit bigger. And yeah, so there we go. That looks like VS Code. So VS Code is the IDE. This is actually where we're going to bloody be writing our code, or at least having Claude Code write our code and manage our code for us, right?
Yes, that's correct. And you have a terminal environment inside this app over here. So now, for the most part, when you're going to be building apps and using Claude Code, it will be inside this VS Code tool.
Okay. Okay. All right. So what do I do now? Do I run through the set? Looks like a bit of a setup procedure I've got to run through.
Yes, there is going to be a little bit of a setup procedure because VS Code has its own Copilot, and there are some other integrations. So you can add Claude Code as an app directly inside here. And there's also a couple of like GitHub apps and extensions and things that you can
Okay. Okay. I don't want Copilot because surely I'm going to use Claude Code instead of their Copilot, right?
You don't necessarily have to use their Copilot, but that's just like an internal agent inside the IDE. So you know how you have Warp and there's an agent built into the Warp terminal?
Yeah.
Their Copilot is just.
Do you think I should go ahead and
So-
set that up, or do you think not necessary right now?
Yeah, maybe let's just skip over that.
Okay.
Because, I generally use the Claude Assistant. So once you install the Claude app here, you then get access to a Claude Assistant, and that's generally the one that I use. Choose your theme. That's pretty straightforward. That's just the color style and setup. And this, you can just choose the settings that you like. This is just how you like to have.
Okay, I would have no idea how to have this configured, so I'm going to trust that how its default is probably correct, and I'm just going to click over to next section. Okay, so now talk me through the brief run through. What is there anything I need to deal with here, or can I mark this as done?
Browse popular extensions. I would go in here and I would add the GitHub. Look for GitHub or Claude Code. You'll see them come up in the left-hand menu. That's going to come up
Okay.
there. So at the top there, you want to look, maybe try search for Claude.
So we want to install this one here. Okay, so this is installing. This is like a little plugin, and yes, I trust the publisher, and I'm installing. And is it?
While you're here, you can see there it's already installed.
Okay.
Here, you can also maybe just search for GitHub.
And let's go Git. It's doing a little search. Git graph. Git. Okay, so I need to use the word hub as well. There, GitHub here. This one at the top here.
No. Rather go look for the official GitHub ones there. GitHub Actions.
GitHub Actions. This one here. Okay. All right. So let's install that. Busy installing, and it's done because the install button is missing. Okay, that's great. Anything else we need to get set up? Okay.
So now you can see there's little.
Yes, yeah. There's tab 1 here and another one there, right?
Those tabs.
Okay, I'm closing that one. I'm closing that one. Yeah.
Okay, so now that we've installed all the things that we need here in VS Code, what we want to actually do is get started on our project now. So what we can do here now is, if you see all the icons down the left-hand side of your screen,
Yeah.
just go click on the very top one.
That one there. Okay.
You'll see here, this gives us the option to open a folder, app, or we can clone a repository, which is cloning an existing app, GitHub.
Okay.
So
all right. There we go. I see it's opened up a little a little interface here.
yeah, I'm just going to go and grab you need the URL. Okay, so you need a URL of the repository to clone. I have dropped a URL in the chat here for the template to clone. We will be sharing this template. This is actually a template by a fellow South African YouTuber. His name is Leon van Sale. And this is an amazing starting template. I found this incredibly helpful to get started with vibe coding projects, because it really does help you set up all of the intricate little functionality that usually gets you all tripped up when getting started. So you can just go and hit enter there now.
Oh, I seem to have just clicked something wrong there. So I've clicked this little button here, and in here I'm sticking in that little link. By the way, guys, there's the link. It'll be in the notes as well, but obviously you can just pause the screen and copy this off, or take a screen grab, send it to your favorite AI, and just have it duplicate this link for you. Leon, you're a legend. Thank you for this. So I'm going to hit enter now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's asking me to select as repository destination. So where should I put this on my computer? Anywhere you recommend?
Yeah, so what I would recommend is, so generally I do this just on my desktop because then it syncs across all of my Macs that I use. So I would recommend going and creating a dedicated project folder on your desktop. And that will be your main project folder. And all of the apps, projects that you work on will exist in that folder. You see, there is a new folder button there on that
Oh,
pop-up.
there it is. Sorry, I'm being a bit dumb on my own computer. New folder. And what should I call this? Does it matter?
Just call it like GitHub or apps or projects, however you want to identify all of your app builds or your projects that you have built.
I'm going to call it Claude Code Projects, and I'm just going to make sure I'm spelling correctly. Claude Code Projects. There we go. Let's get a capital P in here. Done. I'm going to create that, and I'm selecting this as repository destination. And oh, there we go. Would you like to open this clone repository? I'm going to assume yes. So I'm opening that up. Okay, wow. Okay, what do we would like to access? I'm going to allow that. Do you trust the authors of the files in this folder? This is coming from this is from Leon. I do need to trust Leon, so I'm going to trust the authors. So I'm going to hit that. Okay, it looks like I'm back in Visual Studio Code, and I've got a whole bunch of cool shit over here. This is what we downloaded from GitHub, right?
Yes. So as we mentioned earlier in the video, when you have an app, there's multiple folders and files within folders, which make up that structure of that app.
Gotcha.
See that this is what we have all just downloaded now. The app is the agentic coding starter template or starter kit. And you can see there are various folders and files inside this app, which make up the whole thing. And this is where we are going to start using Claude Code in the terminal here to start some of these things in here.
Can we just very quickly jump back to that mirror board where you've got that lovely diagram and just kind of position where we are with what we've done? Can we do that very quickly? Can you take over the screen sharing and just anchor us around, because we've jumped around a little bit. It's easy to get confused. I know I am, and I'm keen just to see that mirror board again. So I'm going to hand the screen back over to you. Because there's lots to this. As I say in the beginning, we're baking a cake here. And normally, with software, we're used to just downloading the software and get started. Claude Code's different. It has to have all these extra pieces to bake the cake being the app, the thing we want to build at the end of all of this. So what have we done so far here, Darren?
So right now, we've installed VS Code. We've installed all of these packages and dependencies. We've got Claude Code. And we have also now cloned Leon's GitHub repository. We've cloned that template into.
Okay. So local. Where it says local there, that's like my computer, right? And then that's where we made the folder and the desktop on my desktop. And then we downloaded stuff from GitHub into that folder on my local machine. And now we're using the IDE to kind of talk to all of that stuff. Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so now inside this local environment over here, we are going to run a couple more commands and start setting up a few things here, which is actually working on these app files. So all of those files down the left-hand side of your VS Code editor, these are the app files that we are going to be editing a few different variables in those fields in order to complete setting up this template. And then we are going to proceed with setting up a few other things.
So let's pause for a moment and talk about this template, because what we're doing here. I mean, in my language, we would be building an app, but we've actually installed a template that's going to help us build some kind of app. Let's call it like a weather forecasting app or something like that. That's what we're going to build at the end of this. But we need this template to start with. So let's just pause a moment. Let's talk about why do we need this template, and also let's give some credit to Leon here as well, and Yeah, I just want to anchor this a little bit as to why we're mucking around with this code that's already in our VS Code, and why is it there?
So the reason we're going to be starting off with this template here is because with vibe coding, I found it can get a little bit tricky when you start building your app. You build out the design, you build this whole thing out, and then you try and go and set up some of the additional functionality and features in your app. For example, user login and databases. Once you've built your app and then try and go and set up the user databases after that, I found that the AI struggle and it can be really tricky to then get the actual functional aspects of your template. So what this template helps us with is it helps us with setting up the main functional aspects of the template first, which is things like authentication for like user login. So we've got the database to store all the users' details. We've got a nice database structure there. They've also set up AI integration here. So this template provides a great starting point where all the core functionality is set up. Once that's set up, we then just go and apply our design and what type of app we want to have. So we get the main database structure, all the user login and all that stuff set up first using the template. We will then go and prompt the AI after that saying, oh, now we would like to have a to-do list app. And it will then go and build those features in while still maintaining the functionality of our database.
I got you. I mean, on right on the screen there, it says starter kit. Where's that? Just jump back into that README file there. This is Leon's GitHub account, starter kit with Claude Code. So if you think about it that way, this is a kickstart. It's a lot of the stuff that every app would need is now taken care of within this. So we can build on top of this. This is a foundational layer that you're almost always going to need, and it can be a bit tricky. So this template kind of just helps us kind of fast forward through all of that setup, right?
Exactly. And you can see here, just like we've installed a couple of dependencies beforehand over here, you can see this template also requires some of those, which we've already taken care of. So now what we are actually going to do is we are going to go and run a couple more commands over here, which is just going to help us finish setting up.
I do want to give a quick shout out. I see you've got it on your tab open there. Why don't you click into your YouTube tab there? I see you've got it open there. And definitely give a shout out to Leon here. Leon von Zale, there's his channel. Definitely if you're into AI and automation and these things, Leon's amazing. He happens to be a South African like we are. It's coincidental. We actually haven't met. We're not connected yet. Leon, if you're watching, loving your work. We'd love to get you on the channel to have a chat. But yeah, definitely check Leon out. Give him a follow. Give him a subscribe. He's very cool. And I've been watching this. I've been seeing this video on the starter kit, and I've been leaving it alone because I knew we were going to do our own version of this. So I'm glad to be seeing this for the first time. So big up to Leon in his yellow shirt there. So thank you, Leon. Well, hopefully we can connect and chat and have you on the channel. Let's get back to getting this set up.
Excellent. So I'm going to hand my screen sharing over to you again here now, because you're going to have to take over here and start running a couple of commands in order to get this app set up.
So I'm going back to VS Code.
Yes, that's correct. So what you're going to do is you're going to VS Code.
All right, here I am.
And now at the top of your screen there, you'll see there's a terminal menu link. Very top.
Top left, top right. Where am I looking for? Is here where my arrow is? Agentic in there?
Top of the Mac menu.
Okay, Darren, yeah, let me just make this a little bit bigger. I see it not filling our full viable screen here. Let me just give me a moment there, guys. There we go. I think it's back filling the screen. Now, if you're using a Mac, Mac's got their own little screen. So off screen here, off the top, you'll see my arrows disappearing out of the screen. But off the top there, I'm inside VS Code, and there's a little option there to launch a new terminal. So I'm clicking that now. And underneath there, it's got an option to click new terminal, which I am doing right now. And you can see what happened is this little opened up here. So sorry, that's off our screen. I don't always share my entire desktop because sometimes there's stuff on there that I'm not comfortable sharing with the world. So forgive me for that one. But you're just going to click into terminal, click new terminal, and then you will see this. Hopefully I've done that correct. Darren, back over to you.
So are in the right place, and you can see there it says there Robin Tyndall at Robin's Mac Mini Agentics Coding Starter Kit. So that means you're inside your apps project folder there.
Okay.
What you want to do now is you need to run a command there. The command is npm install. Robin, I have.
Okay, well, walk it out. Then I don't have to break my screen share. So npm install, is it a crazy command or can you read it out to me? Okay, so now I just hit enter. So what are we doing here with npm install? We're installing npm?
This is just installing dependencies for this particular app.
Okay.
So that's now just doing that. I think what you might want to do, this is going to be, let me double checking some of the commands here. Okay, now I can talk you through some of these commands. It's just sometimes these commands get a little bit. While that's installing there, Robin, go and open up this project on GitHub, because I think it'll be easier for the users to also see where you are getting these commands on your screen share as well now. And they can easily follow along with the GitHub library there.
Okay. This is that's that link there. Let's come over to a new tab and pop that in there. And there we go. All right, and let's jump into the README file, right?
Yeah, so scroll all the way down to step 2, number 2.
There we go.
There we go. So you've now just done install dependencies number 2. So the next one that we are going to do is you can copy this command here. Let's copy the example environment file. So how this template works is there's an example environment file that has all of the credentials for the databases and Google Apps and OpenAI API keys. And we are going to copy this folder. And what that command is essentially doing is copying the env.example file, and it's just renaming it as .env.
Okay, so I'm just trying to put these two side by side here a little bit so we can, let me just get this a little bit better organized. So there is the README file on the left, and then on the right here, I've got my little my VS Code installation. Okay, so we were on step 2. This is the one we've just done.
Yes, correct. So you can see there 5 moderate security details there.
Looks like it's finished. It's busy waiting for my next command.
Yeah, so now you can just go and do the number 3 command there.
Okay, so I'm just going to hit this little copy icon over there. I'm going to come back over to my let me get the right. There is. I've just pasted it in there, and I'm going to hit enter. And I'm not sure if that worked. It was really fast. Copy the environmental file. I think it did.
Yeah, so it did. So you'll see there in the file manager, in the column there where it says Explorer, you'll see there's a .env file.
Yeah.
And further down, you'll see there's an env.example.
Yeah.
So what that command did was copy this env.example and made the env file. Now, if you just go click that env file, you'll see that now that file opens up with a bunch of fields that we are eventually going to have to go and populate with all of our credentials and details that we need to then go and set up.
Okay, so it's a little crowded on my screen here, but what's happened is here, just like a normal Explorer on your computer, I've clicked this file, and then here, this is the context of the file, and then all the way down here is actually my terminal where I'm sending commands. So files, contents of any file I want to edit, and then here's where I'm actually giving commands.
Yes, that's correct. So we want to go and set up now. Next is we need to go and fill in some of the fields here inside this env file. You can see there's a Postgres URL.
Yes.
So we are going to go to another tool quickly now. We are going to set up our Postgres database. We're going to get that Postgres URL. And then the next thing we are also going to do is we need to just head over to OpenAI and generate an API key. So the first thing that you want to do is head over to vercel.com. I have vercel.com.
All right, let me just make this a little bigger. I'll open a new tab and we'll go over to vercel.com. All right, there we are.
Here, you just want to go and create a free account here quickly. And then once you're set up there, I can walk you through the setup of the database to get the Postgres.
All right, so I'm working on a personal project as a hobby. My name is Robin. Continue. I'm going to, I'll continue with Google. All right, so here we go. I've done. So what do I want to do here?
So here, you've got to try and just get to your dashboard. So just click the logo in the top left corner.
Okay, it looks like I'm in my dashboard. Yeah.
So now you want to head over to Integrations tab.
Integrations tab. So there it is there. Okay, so I'm going to browse Marketplace.
Yeah, so what you want to do here for the integration is click Browse Marketplace, and you're going to search for Neon now, Neon, and there you go. You see it pop up over there.
Got it. And I'm going to install.
Yes, and now it's going to ask you a couple of things. Just say create a new Neon account, and it's going to ask you a couple of things like what location do you want the server to be in, and authentication, and which.
All right, so quickly running through that. I'll choose London. This auth. Okay, fetching plans. I'm going to stay on the free plan here, and all good to go. Yeah, so I'm going to continue, and I like Neon Lime Elephant. That sounds fun. I'm going to stay with that, and I can go ahead and create. Okay, done. All right, it's busy building for me. Building something. So this is building a database that's going to save any information that we may want to use. Okay, great. So that's done. All right, got it.
All right. So now on this screen here, you see there's a little bit of information here. You on the top right, you're going to want to click that Show Secret link. Yes, over there. And then just scroll down a little bit on this page. What you are looking for is the Postgres URL. There you go. It's right at the top of that entry there in line 15. Yes. You want to copy that whole line. And then you want to head over back to your VS Code where you have this project open.
Just making this a little bit bigger. So there's the project, and I'm going to connect here. And so, just kind of in there, right? And I just want to paste what I've just copied, eh? Okay, so that's done. Okay, got that.
You just posted double Postgres URL there. You might want to just remove the first.
I gotcha. So let's, can I undo that? So let's actually let's delete that out and paste everything, hey? There we go. Okay, gotcha. Well spotted. Okay, and let me just I'm going to go over, hit File, and hit Save. It's slightly off screen, but you guys know how to save stuff. So there we go, done.
And then also just in VS Code, click the top icon in the left menu so you can get your file on the left.
Oh, yes, right here. Gotcha. There you go.
Okay, excellent. That has now been done. Now, if you just open up the repository for the project again, because now we...
Yeah, let me make a bit more space on our real estate here. Moving with these codes. Okay, so we're back with... how did I...
Just go to the home directory of...
There we go. Clicking on too many things. Scrolling down. Okay, here's the README file. So we're cruising through this. All right. So this is what we're kind of here, right? We've been doing this.
Yes. So now the next step we want to do is step number 4. You want to copy those commands over there. then just run that in the terminal in your VS Code.
Okay, so if you're non-techie, if you're watching this, you're non-techie, this might seem a bit intimidating. I'm not techie. Just follow along with me. So I've copied these things here. I've come back over here into my little terminal section here, and I'm just pasting that and hitting the enter key. And this is just basically setting up the database with some basic stuff that we need. Don't worry too much about it. You don't need to understand this if you're non-techie. We'll trust in Darren here and keep on following forward. Okay, Darren, that looks like that works successfully.
Yeah. Now, the last thing you want to do is just do step 5, where you're going to start the dev server there. So copy that command and run that there.
Okay.
And that should give us the URL where we can open the home page of our template and just finish this up.
Okay, so the server's busy running. I can see that. The server's running. It says it's running at the moment, so that's great. And then here's the little URL. So I'm just going to hold down my command key and click on that. That should open a website, which it's doing. Let me just move this into the middle of our viewer here. And here it is. This is being displayed now. I see this is doing some checks. And look at that, we passed. We've got 3 ticks here, and we didn't do any AI integration, so that makes sense. And I see it does say optional. So this tells us, Darren, it looks like we've done this correctly. It's working.
So this looks like it's all looking good at the moment. Scroll a little bit down on the screen there.
Okay.
There you go. Click the View Dashboard. That should then take you to a protected page. Click the sign-in link.
Okay, and we haven't done this. I think this is where you've got to set up with Google to be able to sign in with your Google account. And I know we haven't done any of this just yet. So this kind of makes sense to me that this wouldn't be working yet. We didn't configure. I saw in that environmental file there was the option to stick in some Google authentication stuff, which we haven't done. So I'm not surprised we're having an error here.
Yeah, so this is expected right now. So we can just go back there for a second. And for this example here, we are not going to be using a Google login or anything like that. So our database is now connected. What you can actually go and do now is go and click that Get AI.
Oh, shit. So we can actually start. All right. So I'm going to click that. What do we got here? Generate AI starter prompt. Create a comprehensive prompt to help AI agents create your project. So does this mean we're actually starting to build something now?
We are now going into the first step of the building now, where you'll put your prompt in over here, and this just helps you get a little bit of a PRP, just more of an enhanced prompt that you can use in the AI that's going to give you a product requirements prompt, and that's just going to spec out the app that you want to build in a little bit more detail. So what you want to do here is, what do you want to build today, Rob? You want to build a simple to-do?
Yeah, let's stick with the to-do list one. We really want to keep this simple, and I think we'll do some more complex building of an app in the next video because I know this one's dragging on. So let's just kind of do something really simple and just kind of dip our toe in the water here.
Yeah, so go and write out what the description of your to-do list app and some of the basic functions that you would like to see in it. And then from there, we'll then move on to the next step.
And just finish. How's that?
Yeah, that's overview. For a to-do list app to help manage day-to-day tasks. I want to be able to have a start and finish date and assign the task to someone. That's perfect now. So what you want to do there now is you want to go and copy that starter prompt.
Okay, copy.
Okay. Now what you want to do is head over to your VS Code.
Okay, so we're leaving this website. I'm just going to close it, and we're going back into VS Code. Okay, here it is.
Instead of closing that web window all the time, you can leave that window open, because then you can keep refreshing that page to see what's going on. So in your terminal,
yeah, let's do that and tell you what. There it is. I tell you what I'm going to do here to make it easier. Is I'm actually just going to put this as an extra tab in my window, and just pop it in there. And now it's easy for me to go and check out. So I'll keep it a little bit on the left-hand side menu here, slightly smaller. And let me make this VS Code, this IDE, feeling smart when I say IDE. Okay, so there we are. I'm in here. I'm busy running. We're obviously talking to the server at the moment. I'm guessing I'm going to need to get out of the server. We're talking to the development server in this VS Code. I've got to get back to a terminal, right?
So we'll get there, but now
Okay.
what you've done is you just copied that URL, so you've now lost the start from copied the rest.
Oh, that sucks. Okay, but we can just do that again. So get AI starter prompt here. Okay, please create a to-do app where I can manage day-to-day tasks. I want to be able to assign tasks and have a start and finish. How many typos are in there? Not too many. Assign. Okay, so there we go. Manage day-to-day tasks. Okay, so I'm going to copy that prompt. Done. Okay, back where we were.
Okay, excellent. So you've now copied that prompt. Now in your VS Code window, what you want to do is click the terminal link in the main top menu and just open another terminal.
Okay, so that's slightly off screen. So I'm just going to go into that and go terminal and run a new terminal. There we go. Okay.
There we go. You're going to want to start a Claude Code in that.
How do I do that? Do I just type Claude?
Yes.
Like that. Okay. Doing some thinking. There we go. Yes, I want to proceed. Okay, there we go. I can see Claude Code. Okay, great stuff.
All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use the prompt that was generated in the last step, and we are now going to actually use Claude Code to start generating our app from within inside VS Code here. So you've now started up Claude Code in the terminal here in VS Code. Where you want to navigate to is the docs folder on the left-hand side.
Okay.
Yes. Then you're going to go click into the starter prompt over there. And you're just going to select and delete all of this.
So remind me, what's the select all again? Command A, huh?
And then you're going to copy your prompt from the next step there. There you go. Now you are going to save this.
I thought we were just copying. Is this the whole? And has it got my little? Oh, there it is. Okay, now I understand what's going on. I see that. There it is. Okay, so that's why we got it. That's why we copied it from that website, because it had, even though I was only copying a small prompt, it came along with all this other information that's part of it. Okay, which is why this small prompt that I copied, that I created, has actually become this very large prompt. Okay, that makes sense. I got you now. All right. Okay.
So now you are going to save the file structure.
So file and save, just doing that off screen. Yep.
Now in Claude Code in the terminal down at the bottom there, you're inside the project folder. What you can do is just drag that starter prompt MD file into the line there. Yes. Just
Okay, so this is now basically just pulling this whole instead of typing this prompt out, I'm just dragging in this file which has got the prompt inside it, so it's the same thing.
yes. So on the front end of the app, where you did that very basic description, okay, that just generates this massive long prompt with your prompt. We then save that. And now we are then dragging your saved prompt, or this starter prompt.md file, into Claude. And you can see there that is open the starter prompt document there. And
I'm always so polite to these LIMs. You never know how it's going to pay off in the future. So there you go. Please build the app. Okay, so it's building the app based on that little tiny prompt I gave, but it's got all this other kind of system prompt bolted on top of that. And it's using all of that along with the boilerplate templates. And this has all been kind of, thanks to Leon's hard work, is connecting everything together and understanding it, and, you know, all these bits and pieces, so we don't have to worry about it. So right now it's building my app. This is very cool. So,
yeah, so you can see there, it's going through a bunch of files there. It's just looking at the documents there, and you can see there now it's asking you to install some dependencies.
So I'm just going to hit yes. So that's kind of nice. It's giving me some control over things. I get to say yes or no if I wanted to go ahead.
Yeah. There are different modes. So there's YOLO mode on Claude where it will run through everything without you needing to interfere and tell it, yes, I give you permissions. But that's super dangerous. If you do that, you want to run it in its own separate dev container so that won't damage anything else.
I'm just going to kind of let it run ahead here. You just jump in if there's anything you feel I shouldn't say yes to, but I'm going to say yes to this one.
Just keep saying yes to.
So it's writing the code for our to-do app here, and then I would imagine in our boilerplate little website there on our local host 3000, if we refresh that, we're probably going to see our app pop up there.
Yeah, so if you actually, in your left-hand window now, if you go and refresh that screen, you can close that generate AR starter prompt pop-up. Yeah, and just refresh that screen, and you should see the changes that are being made as it's...
You know what we may need to do is we may need to stop and restart the server, the dev server, for these changes to apply. I think that might be why we're not seeing the changes just yet. So maybe we just let this finish running the build, and then in that other terminal. Yeah.
Attention here, you can actually see it says there, replacing main page with to-do dashboard.
Okay.
So it's in the process of still walking through the apps, through the app, to then do and update the changes. And I also asked you for some more permissions there again.
So I'm just letting that run.
See there in the left-hand side now, that homepage is now, it's generated an error there. That's obviously because Claude Code is busy working now at the same time.
Okay. So we're kind of seeing stuff happening a little bit live here. So that's cool.
And you can see what's happening here is it's just working through all the code, and obviously as it finds errors, it generates errors and things. It'll just go back and make sure everything works. You can see now it's creating the to-do dashboard component. You can actually probably navigate down to option 2 on that menu the next time it comes up, because then it just accepts permissions for the whole session.
Okay, there, option 2, allow adults during the session. So that's great. So this will just run now. Okay, it's still asking me, but that's fine. It's simple to hit the enter key for a short while.
Whenever it's one of those, it should be all right.
Okay. Now, of course, this is busy hitting my Claude Anthropic API key. So it's burning some tokens, costing some money here as we go. So just a word of warning, don't get carried away here, because it can cost you a bit of money. I would imagine this is remarkably cheap. But yeah, don't forget this is burning some credits, because we are talking to an AI at this point in time.
So you can see it's now, it was looking through the database and looking for type checks now, and it's just going through everything now just to finish setting up this to-do list app.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch it work. I'm just letting it do its thing.
You can even see that it looks like it's working on the checkbox, React checkbox. And there we go. You can see.
All right, looking good. It's obviously not done yet, though. It's still doing bits and pieces.
And because we've already connected this app to the database, we didn't set up the Google authentication. Claude may very well go set up a standard login screen for us with the username and password. So those fields will be in the database table. We don't need any other external authentication like Google. So we'll see now, maybe on the left-hand side, go click that sign-in link.
No, it's still taking us through.
Still going to Google there.
Yeah.
But what you can do then is once Claude has finished going through all of this here now, we can then try and navigate through the app on the left-hand side over there. And we can then say, oh, we see that there's the login page is redirecting to Google, or we don't want to use this. We just want a simple username and password and connect that to the database.
So maybe I am being asked to log in. Please remove any login steps.
No, don't say that. Rather say something, I'm being asked to log in with Google, or saying I'm being redirected to Google authentication. More specific you're going to be here, better the AI is going to give you feedback here. So this comes down to the prompting that we put in. It's going to affect the quality of work that we get out. So I'm being asked to log in via Google Authentication. Please change this and just add a simple login page.
With email, with you.
Username and password, or email and password.
Oh, I hit enter too soon. Let's see if
No,
it does
that's
that.
fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
We'll see what Claude's going to go do here. And you can even see here, it gives you a little brief explanation here. I'll help you change the Google or the simple username password login system. So this will now go through this now, and it should then go and change this up here to a simple password page. See there, it was fixing the dashboard redirection logic. Obviously, when the user logs in, they want to be redirected to the dashboard. And now there it's running the database migration.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I'll probably edit out all this. I will edit out all this waiting stuff. We'll just kind of jump to the final step.
You can even see on the left-hand app page, it's already.
Yeah. So it looks like it's done there. And I think I'm just going to reload this page, although I think it was kind of live reloading as we went. So I'm going to click the sign up button here. And let's just pop in some details here. I'll pop in my Gmail address, and let's just put a very simple password in here, and let's put it. And create account. And here we have a simple, let's create your first task. Let's just go learn. Yeah, good idea. Let me do that quickly. All right, so this, folks, we did this super fast. So let's go. I'm going to put here learn Claude Code is my task. Learn Claude Code description. I'm just going to duplicate that, and assignee. I'm going to assign it to Darren. And start date. Well, I've got a little date picker. That's fantastic. Let's choose today. And that seems to be a little buggy there. So, and let's jump to the next one. And by tomorrow we'll know everything that's going on. So that it's done. Oh, it's a little buggy there. It doesn't want to kind of jump away. But yeah, this is how we go. And let's go ahead and create task. And there's a task we popped in there. So there we go. So Darren, I think we should kind of call it a day there. We've gone through video 1, which was setting up kind of the basics of Claude Code. Video 2, today's video has been diving into some deeper stuff. And of course, we're focusing this on non-techie people like myself. So we've had to kind of give the environment of what's going on and why. So hopefully you understand a little bit more about why we need all these elements and how they pull together. And now we've built a very simple app as well. I think we've got another video pending we need to bring into where we dive into maybe taking this to-do dashboard and adding in some Google authentication, maybe adding some features, changing some colors, and maybe just using Claude Code more effectively and maybe prompting it more effectively. But I think we'll stall that for next week's video because this has been a lot. And if you've watched all the way through to the end here, thank you so much. It's been fantastic. Darren, I think we pause there. That's amazing. I know video 1, we covered some basics. Video 2, slightly more advanced, but we still had to set up a fairly complicated infrastructure because this is a full coding environment. The developers will be laughing at us here, but the non-techies hopefully have learned along with me. Thank you for sharing with us, Darren. That was amazing. I'm super stoked. I built a simple to-do app.
Functionality of our app there. We've got a nice database that's going to store all of our users, and we've got the basic functionality of the to-do list app. We can now then start building onto that, adding more features, maybe start styling it for our own brand, our own
Fantastic. So we'll cover that in the next video, video 3. Now, I know we're taking our time with this because we want to talk to you guys as non-techies. So hopefully you're learning with me. And if you want to be around more non-techies and to rub shoulders with people who are technical, to learn off them, if you're liking the style of Darren and I, please come and join us in our community. Let's Automate It. Details are down in the description of the video. We're a very authentic, very real, very intimate community. And if you want to kind of engage with real humans and take your skill level forward in all things AI and automation, including Claude Code, come and join us in there. We'd love to have you. We'll catch you on the next video. Good night, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Enjoy the video. And until next time, have a good one.
Cheers. See you again soon.